Alright, yeah, so I definitely think Tyron Woodley won the fight by miles, actually.
You're facing the wrong way.
I'm facing the wrong way.
If you just turn around to your right there.
Oh.
Little bit more.
Okay.
Alright, now a little bit to the left.
Here? Yeah.
Alright, perfect.
Alright, yeah, I definitely think Tyron Woodley won the fight by miles, in all honesty. Alright, all jokes aside, yes, that was a fucking bar of a dumbbell. All jokes aside, you know, I just gotta have my fun. My actual thoughts on the fight. I mean, I did a prediction video before the fight. And I said I was cheering for Tyron Woodley, but I thought Jake was gonna win. I said if Tyron Woodley were to win, he would win by TKO most likely. And if Jake were to win, I thought I had Jake winning on decision. I was actually right, you know. Usually I'm right in, well, I actually have been right in all the fights so far, but not bang on right, you know, with everything. So, I mean, that's something to take away. But, yeah, to talk about the fight, man, like I said, I was cheering for Tyron Woodley, but I did think Jake was going to win. So, my thoughts are, when Tyron Woodley first came out, I knew Jake, obviously, he had the reach. Jake was going to try and box him. I kind of assumed Tyron Woodley was going to try to get in close and try to rough box him, dirty box him, rough him up a bit. That's what I would like to think. I'm not going to lie. About 30 seconds into the fight, seeing the way Tyron Woodley was doing shit, moving, I knew Tyron Woodley was not winning the fight. I'll be real. I could just tell. The whole problem with Tyron Woodley was he is gun. I don't know if he's gun shy, actually. No. I would probably say he's gun shy. He will not pull the trigger. See, as a Tyron Woodley fan and cheering for Tyron Woodley in this fight was the most frustrating shit. See, as a Jake Paul fan, it must have been amazing. Because it was very frustrating to cheer for Tyron Woodley. What I will say, though, is this isn't going to be a video where I complain and go, oh, Tyron Woodley should have won the fight. This shit's rigged. Fuck Jake Paul. I ain't going to do that. You know, I'm going to say it how it is. Jake won that fight. It don't matter. I see people all over Twitter. I see people on YouTube, in the comment section of every video saying, oh, nah, Tyron Woodley was robbed. Jake Paul didn't deserve to win that fight. This is all rigged. It wasn't rigged, right? Like I said, this is not coming from a Jake Paul fan. I am far from a Jake Paul fan. I do not like Jake Paul. I respect him, but I don't like him. So I ain't going to kiss up his ass. And I don't care if I was cheering for Tyron Woodley and I've been a fan of him for quite a while. I don't kiss anybody's ass. I say it how it is. Whether I like the truth or I don't like truth, I say the truth. That's just how I am. I don't care. So, Jake Paul won that fight. And it's really just as simple as that. Tyron Woodley was gun shy. He was letting Jake control the pace of the fight for the most part. And he just wasn't doing enough. Like, literally, if you literally said to me, the first 2 rounds, Tyron Woodley threw a total. I think in the first round, Tyron Woodley threw a total of 6 punches, I think I heard. If you told me he threw a total of 10 punches for the first 2, I would believe you. You know what I mean? The stats at the end of the fight, this is what everybody's debating over. Jake landed more jabs. Tyron Woodley landed, I think, 6 more power shots. And Jake landed more shots in general and more body shots. The whole controversy is people think that Tyron Woodley won the fight because he landed the more, I'd say, damaging shot. Yeah, damaging shots. There's no doubt about it. He landed the more damaging shots. 100% he did. And people are saying that whenever he hit Jake with a big hand right, Jake got saved by the ropes and it held Jake up. Yes, it did hold Jake up. But like I said, I'm going to be real. Whether I would have liked to see Woodley win, but I'm going to sit here and lie and say that I think he won because he did not. See that judge that thought Woodley won the fight. See the intro to this video, what you saw with the glasses and the fucking, we'll say, cane. That was literally my best impression of that judge that thought Woodley won that fight. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if you're watching this, you think Woodley won the fight, you're entitled to your opinion, but I just don't see how you can think that. I understand, maybe you hate Jake Paul, but like, come on. But, yeah, to that punch that Jake got held up by the ropes, a lot of people are saying it should have been scored a knockdown. I could see that, because if that was in the centre of the ring, Jake would have failed. But my problem with it is people are saying that Jake is lucky he got saved by the ropes, because if that was in the middle of the ring, he would have failed and that would have been it. That's not the case at all. Yes, the ropes held him up and stopped it from being a knockdown in the referee's book, but you gotta understand, whether it was in the middle of the ring or whether it was against the ropes like it was the same shot, it was the same damage dealt, it was the same power, it was the same connection, it landed in the same place. So if it was in the middle of the ring and Jake did fall because he stumbled after he got hit, because it was you know, that would hurt you, you know what I mean? It was a damaging shot. Jake would have got up, because after he got punched, it's not like Jake lay against the ropes and like covered up. Like, Tyron Woodley went for him, and Jake was like, he was like, obviously you could tell it affected Jake, but he definitely didn't get affected enough that he wouldn't have got up, because it didn't, he felt it, but it did not make Jake think, oh shit, like he's gonna kill me here. You know what I mean? Jake just went back into mode. It wasn't that damaging of a shot to knock Jake out. Yes, if it was in the centre of the ring, Jake would have failed and hit the canvas, but he would have got right back up. I don't see how people like can think if it was in the middle of a ring that he wouldn't have got up, when even though he hit the ropes and he bounced off, he still, like, he continued to move. Like, it's not like he was unconscious. I don't know, like, why people think that regardless if it was in the centre of the ring or against the ropes, that the damage would be different, because it would be the same. It would just be Tyron Woodley would have got the knockdown in that round, which, yes, it probably should have been a knockdown, because Jake would have stumbled, and he did, basically, he almost fell out of the ropes. But yeah, so that's one of the most controversial ones. Second most controversial is people were saying Tyron Woodley was walking Jake down and he controlled the pace of the fight and all this and that. And like, people saying Tyron Woodley was walking Jake down. Yes, he was. But there's a problem, right? People are saying, oh, Tyron Woodley was walking Jake down and that's why he won the fight. Yeah, Tyron Woodley walked towards Jake. Do you know why I stopped there? Because for the most part in the fight, after he finished walking towards him, he did fuck all. And it's annoying as cheering for Tyron Woodley, because it's like this. If Tyron Woodley let his hands go and went for the kill, I believe Tyron Woodley would have at least TKO'd Jake. I believe he would have beat Jake. I do. I believed he would have beat Jake. But then again, Jake, you know, could have been perfect, I don't know. But I believed he would have had a great chance of beating Jake. But he didn't do that. We can say, yeah, he walked Jake down, and yeah, he hit some good shots, and yes, he was like, he got a few nice jabs. For the most part, no, he had a few damaging shots, yes, but for the most part, after he finished walking after Jake, like, he walked Jake down. Jake was right there. Tyron Woodley did nothing. And another thing is people saying that Tyron Woodley outlanded Jake. That's ridiculous. Tyron Woodley would hit Jake once. He would hit him with a jab, he'd hit Jake once, and he'd let Jake hit him 5 times. And people are saying, like, oh, but the shots from Jake weren't that damaging, they didn't affect Woodley. Yes, I know that, like, 100% they didn't, because Jake threw, like, I think he threw, I don't remember the exact combo, but he threw, like, a 4-punch combo that landed on Woodley, like, and it did not affect Woodley. But that's not how boxing works. It's like, say we're in the ring, and I jab you, and I go like that, even if it felt like a feather slapping you in the face, that's still me touching you. That's like gaining me points. That's how boxing works. It's a scoring system, you know what I mean? So it's like, Jake won on decision because he outlanded Woodley. Yes, Woodley had more damaging shots, but he didn't take advantage. I saw at least 4 times where Jake, like, threw a jab or he went low and his jaw was open, and if Tyron Woodley threw that, there was one time actually I saw Tyron Woodley throw it properly and he missed by that much, and if he threw that again and connected, I think Jake would have at least been dazed, where Tyron Woodley could have went in for the kill, but Tyron Woodley didn't. And that's my thing, is, you know, we can hate Jake Paul, you know, we can be the, yeah, fuck Jake Paul mob, but at the end of the day, how are we going to hate on Jake Paul for Tyron Woodley not fighting at his best ability? Like, you know what I mean? Whether you hate Jake Paul or not, how are you going to blame Jake Paul for Tyron Woodley not letting his hands go? Tyron Woodley was hesitant. That's what I'm saying. I was like, maybe his last few fights, he's not over it. I think in Tyron Woodley's head, he was thinking, I've lost my last few fights, I can't lose this one. And I think another thing that played into it, Tyron Woodley knew he lost like against Kamaru Usman, but that's nothing to be ashamed of, because the man's a monster. But imagine he lost against a YouTuber. I think Tyron Woodley was scared to let his hands go in case, because remember, no matter who you are, no matter how big you are, one punch can change everything if it lands correctly. I think he was hesitant because he did not want to get knocked out by a YouTuber. I don't think Tyron Woodley gave it his all. I personally think that he trained properly, but I think when he got in the ring, I don't think he gave it his all. I think he gave up early, and that's just my opinion. We've seen it before in a few fights. He just gave up, and like I said, it's frustrating cheering for Woodley because I wanted him to win, but that's just not the case. But that's literally just my thoughts on the fight, fam. People are saying Tyron Woodley won. Like I said, as you can tell by my fucking intro there, like I just think it's ridiculous. Like I said, definitely if Tyron Woodley let his hands go more and he was more aggressive, he definitely could have beat Jake Paul. But we're not talking about what could have happened, what he could have done. We have to talk about what he did do, which for the most part, compared to what he can do, was fuck all. He didn't let his hands go. He got some nice punches, but he could have got better punches and he could have ended Jake, and he didn't. You know what I mean? And this is where it leaves. Because now we've seen Jake went 8 rounds. And although Tyron Woodley wasn't the biggest threat to Jake, we can't blame Jake on Tyron Woodley not showing up in the biggest way. We can't do that. And if you want to do that, fair enough. But it doesn't make sense because that's not Jake's fault. You know what I mean? A lot of people were saying before he obviously fought 2 YouTubers. He fought a basketball player. He fought Ben Askren. And people were saying, oh, he's picking his opponents. And he picked Tyron Woodley. And yes, Tyron Woodley is not a boxer, but he's a dangerous man. Like, out of every opponent so far, that Jake has had, Tyron Woodley's the one that you wouldn't want to step in the ring with. The other 4, fair enough, but like they're nowhere near as, scary as Tyron Woodley in a ring or an octagon, you know what I mean? So it sits here now and it's like, I feel like it's just gotten to the point that even if you hate Jake Paul, you gotta give him his credit. Now, I'm not saying Jake Paul is a world-class boxer. I'm not saying that he's going to be the greatest of all time. I'm not saying that he's amazing. But you gotta say he's at least decent. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying he's going to box the best, but the people he's fought so far, you fight who's in front of you and he's beat them all. You know what I mean? You gotta give him some respect. Like I said, I'm not saying that you have to give him full respect, but you have to give him at least a little bit of respect, in my opinion. Like, he's won my respect. I may not be the biggest fan of Jake Paul. There's some things he does I agree with, and I'm like, good, he's maturing a bit. There's some things that he still does and he's done in the past that I just think he's a real twat for. But at the end of the day, whether you like someone or not, part of maturity is giving them respect when they deserve it. Give credit where credit is due. I don't care if I'm not the biggest fan of Jake Paul. I will give him credit. He has my respect for the most part. And the question is, who does he fight next? Does he get a rematch, Tyron Woodley? Or does he fight Tommy Fury? My personal opinion, I would like to see him fight Tommy Fury. For real. And here's the reason why. Jake has fought 5 fights now. 4 professional, 1 amateur, right? He's won all 5. We'll talk about his professional ones, though. He's won 4. He has 3 knockouts, right? So he has 4 fights. I think Tommy Fury is now 7-0. Jake is 4-0. I think the reason that they're such a good matchup is... One thing, actually, I don't know if the match will happen because Tommy Fury cannot sell tickets like Jake Paul, but Tommy Fury is kind of a big deal over here in the UK because of Love Island, so I feel like a lot of people would tune into that, you know what I mean? But I think the fight makes sense for the simple fact of they both have kind of similar records, they're not that far apart. They both didn't start off, they didn't dedicate their life to boxing, they came from being a personality and came into the boxing realm, and they both get the exact same criticism, which is you haven't fought anybody worthwhile yet. See what I mean? People will say to Jake, you haven't fought anybody worthwhile yet, aside maybe Tyron Woodley now. People will say to Tommy Fury, you haven't fought anybody worthwhile yet, aside the guy that he fought. So it makes sense. Maybe the pay-per-view numbers won't be there, maybe the paycheck won't be there, but the fight itself, on paper, in my opinion, makes sense. I would like to see that. I don't know if I want to see a Tyron Woodley second fight. Unless Tyron Woodley is going to promise he's going to get in there and go for it. like his life depends on it. I don't know if I want to say it because I just don't want to see another passive fight. I want to see people get in there. But yeah, that's literally my thoughts. I don't even know how long this video is. I'm sorry for dragging this shit out, but that's literally my thoughts. Like I said, I was cheering for Tyron Woodley. I predicted Jake by decision. I was right. And like I said, whether you like Jake or whether you don't like Jake, you have to give him credit. But there's still going to be some people, no matter what Jake does, he will not get the credit. Like, we'll talk hypothetically. Say Jake fought Canelo Alvarez. And by the way, I'm using this hypothetically because I know a lot of people nowadays take everything you say literally. And some people are probably going to get butthurt if they see this. But I'm saying, hypothetically, right? Say Jake Paul boxed Canelo, right? And then he beat Canelo. It wouldn't happen, right? Before everybody starts getting on Twitter going, oh, fucking stupid, right? Say he did that, and then he knocked out Canelo Alvarez. I can't even say his name right. He knocked out Canelo. People would still call Jake trash, you know what I mean? So he can't win. I'm not saying that would happen, but, you know, he can't win. But that's what I'm saying. You should give him at least some respect. If we're talking about proper boxer, he hasn't fought a proper boxer yet. You know what I mean? Fair enough. But if we're talking about, I say, influencer / celebrity boxers, Jake's at the top. And you have to give him respect. You know what I mean? He took that punch from Tyron Woodley, and although he would have failed, he did eat that shit, and he continued going. So, you got to give him respect. But shout out to both fighters. I just wish Tyron Woodley did a bit better. And, you know, all respect to Jake, all respect to Tyron Woodley. You know, it was better than the last, 4 Jake Paul fights. So, yeah. But let me know what your opinions were in the comment section below. Let me know who you wanted to win, who you wanted to win, who you thought was going to win. Do you agree that Jake Paul won, or are you one of these people that you think Tyron Woodley won? Who do you want to see Jake Paul fight next? And just if you have anything to say about the fight, just comment it down below. Whether it's agreeing with my opinions, whether it's disagreeing, go for it. Because at the end of the day, if you think Tyron Woodley won, or you just have different opinions, that's fine. I ain't going to hate you for your opinion. It ain't going to affect my life, and my opinion ain't going to affect your life. So if you disagree, just say it. We'll have a conversation about it. That's it, really. If you disagree, you disagree. If you agree, you agree. And that's how it is. But, yeah. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button if you haven't yet already. As always, I hope you all are having an amazing day. Think positive, test negative. Have an amazing rest of your day. And as always, I've been Undisputed, and I will see you in the next one. So, peace. Fearless.